What's up, guys? Gavin Jeep here, and today I'm going to be ranking all three of the Monsterverse movies from worst to best. If you don't know what the Monsterverse is, it is basically the cinematic universe between Godzilla, Kong, and other giant monsters, basically. So today I'll be ranking all three of them. So there's Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters. Those are all the movies, and it's in order. So basically, of course, I'm going to be doing what I think is the worst to the best. Remember, this is just my opinion. Don't get offended or anything. Obviously, just my opinion. Before we start, I just wanted to say I've grown to really like this cinematic universe. I think it's great that we have something else other than like Marvel, the like MCU. So we finally got something else that's like a lot different. Because I actually before I watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, I wasn't a huge Godzilla fan. But then I watched it and like it really appealed to me, and then I went back and watched other Godzilla movies, and it ended up being still my favorite Godzilla movie. So in last place is going to be Godzilla 2014. So the thing is about this movie, I still really like this movie, but really it's just because Godzilla just does not appear enough in this movie. Because like, not only do the monsters as a whole not appear enough, the villains, the Mutos, the bad monsters, they're the complete focus. They talk about how much the Mutos are bad. They barely ever talk about Godzilla though, but they still use him to like defeat the Mutos. But like even then, I'm pretty sure Godzilla actually has maybe I'm not sure, but Godzilla may have less screen time than the actual Mutos. So I feel like they just support they put a little too much thought into the human characters. And while the human characters are good, they give them too much, and they don't give the monsters enough. As in, like, not enough scenes. And there was just something about, like, although I did like the fight scenes, I felt like they should have had, like, at least one, like, where we could see it that takes place during the day. Because there is one that takes place during the day, but we barely get to see it. So I wish they could just, like, make one that's, like, full and everything. So, you know, that's just what it is, really. But yeah, the human character's still good, but too much credit, really. But I really do appreciate the parts where Godzilla and the Mutos are in it. But yeah, this one just has to go in last place. So at number 2 is going to be... let me go to it. Kong Skull Island. So this one was pretty good. So Kong Skull Island, basically, I like how they did the plot, like, different from the King Kong movies that came before. There was about 2 remakes of the original ones that came out in the 30s. There's 2 remakes before this one. There was the one from the 70s and then one from 2005. I think this one is a lot different because what's different about this one is when they go to Skull Island, they stay on Skull Island and then they go back without Kong, which is a good idea. So basically, they kind of changed the storyline with the characters and with the village people in this movie than the other ones, and I'm glad they did that because like it's kind of like a new story. And I'm also glad it took place in the 1973, because like it actually hints Godzilla about how like people have talked about him, but the people then don't that like are in that time, like 1973, don't exactly know if he's real, but then decades later they find out. Mom glad how they also made him like young, but then hinting at when he's older he might go against Godzilla. But also like how this did have a lot of monster action in it, which I really did like. I think it had a good balance between the human characters and the monsters. So, what were problems with this movie exactly? Well, what were the problems? That's a good question. I feel like maybe just a little too many human characters died. And I also thought that they should have kind of taken advantage of how many monsters were in this movie. But, like, really, the only one that Kong really faced was the Skullcrawler. I mean, he also did face the giant octopus, but I thought there could be, like, a storyline where he not only faces him, like the Skullcrawler, but also another monster. So, yeah, I feel like that was kind of a problem. But, yeah, the thing about all the people, a bunch of people getting killed was kind of, kind of crazy. If you get what I mean. Let's see, another thing that I like about this movie is that, it just has a really good, how should I say it, direction, with the way the people act. They go there for an expedition, and then they find monsters. And it's a war between man and monster, basically, on an island. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy, honestly. But, yeah, overall, really good. But the reason why I didn't put this on number one is because number one is better. So, at number one is going to be Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Yes. I feel like this movie was actually very underrated. 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, come on, guys. But good audience score. Like, I think it was like 90 on the audience score. So this one was really good because, like, it sparked the controversy with Godzilla because of what happened 5 years prior of this movie. And it had a family who lost their their family member in an accident. Andrew Russell, the Russell family, lost him. However, I don't think they did, because hopefully you saw part one of Godzilla Multiverse Monster, part one, of course, and it turns out he survived, in my opinion. I'm not, like, spoiling the real movies, because I have no idea if they're gonna do that, but I think he survived. So basically, another reason why I like this movie is because, like, it talks about how there were monsters in, like, ancient times, but they're gonna rise again. And how they say that King Ghidorah is an invasive species, but, like, not like other invasive species, like, he's from space. He's not supposed to be on Earth at all. And I also like how Emma Russell, how she thinks that these monsters need to fight because the humans will return to another age where they coexist with them and not make the world so it's like a polluted place with war and overpopulation and stuff like that. But of course she was kind of wrong, and I like how the other side of the characters disagreed with her because she was not going to do it in a good way. Also, like how Millie Bobby Brown did a really good job at playing Madison Russell. Definitely seems like a kid who wants, in this war to just survive, really. And she has to make sure that Godzilla wins. Like, she kind of helps Godzilla win. Also really like, the human character. I mean, the monster characters, of course. Mothra, she's a great character to put in there, being the queen of the monsters with God. And Godzilla, I mean, man, like, in this movie, he looks so much more powerful. And, of course, burning Godzilla at the end, great addition. And also, I just really like how, like, King Ghidorah was, like, really aggressive, too, and almost killed him. But then we got to see Godzilla take him down. So that's why I really like this movie. And I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of monster action too. Like Rodan, also a great character to put in there. Like coming like right from a volcano, awesome. So like, yeah, they kind of healed like the problems with the first Godzilla movie. Like there not being enough action, because now I feel like in this one it was really just it was perfectly balanced, really. So yeah, I'm glad that happens. Although I do not agree with some people that say that there's actually not enough human complexion in it. But I think there is, honestly. So yeah, that's my rankings of all the Monsterverse movies. And I did this because I can't wait until Godzilla vs. Kong. Unfortunately, it's not coming out until 2021, guys. And obviously, because of COVID, that's why. But you know what? Hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.